Will the Ethereum price keep on rising? If you're interested in knowing more about this, please keep watching. Bybit is one of the best exchanges I've ever used. After completing Know Your Customer, KYC, and deposit worth $500, you will get $1,000 worth of Ethereum's position. This is a really great offer that has never been introduced before. Simply click the link below, and you'll be directed to Bybit. After completing KYC and making a $500 deposit, you will receive a long or short position in Ethereum with a value of $1,000. If your futures position makes a profit, it's fine to withdraw your initial deposit and earnings. This is really a generous offer. Please click the link below and try this out. Alright, let's start with Ethereum's market now. First of all, let's mark the boundary out. This boundary is around $1,900. The boundary at $1,900 is the most evident interchangeable level of both support and resistance in the weekly candlestick chart. During the previous period, it acts as resistance when the price touches it, and after the price action breaks through it, it becomes a support level until the price action breaks below it. It continually falls below the level and never rises back. If we analyze this trend with the law of cause and effect by the Wyckoff method, the trend can be separated into two sections. The first section is the section above the level. Let's differentiate with colors. The upper section is colored red, while the lower section is colored green. There's a reason that lies in there. Let's dissect it. The upper section is called the distribution phase. What does that mean? Institutional investors buy chips at the lower range price and then rally the market. Then, they will sell at one point for arbitrage. Where do they choose to sell? In fact, they need a period of oscillation that's suitable to sell. That's the red section. How many do they sell in this red section? And how much trading volume does it create? Let's measure it. They sell for over 400 days, and the trading volume is around 93 million Ethereum. In the bear market, it's the period when institutional investors buy back these chips. Hence, this is where the accumulation phase exists. That's within the green section. How long does this green section last? And how much trading volume it accumulates? Within this green section, 94 million of trading volume has been accumulated. You can see that these two phases have different duration, but similar trading volumes. Many single candlesticks appear here, with a large trading volume. As for the upper section, though the phase lasts longer, no significant trading volume is shown. So, what can you observe from this? If we apply the law of cause and effect to explain this trend, you can see that the red section is the cause of the green section below here, while the cause of the green section is the red section. What's the effect of the red section? It's the green section below here. Both sections are related causally. Now the price action breaks through the level. Is this a true breakout? This is indeed a question I want to find out. I reckon it's highly likely to be a real breakout, even though we're going to face a retracement due to the massive unlocking of staked ETH. 3 days later, I still think this is a good entry point, because the breakout is highly likely to be a real breakout. Okay, This breakout signifies that the accumulation phase has been completed, and it can compete with the upper section. As long as the lower section accumulates enough trading volume, it's able to fill up the gap in Ethereum that the institutional investors sold out before. Hence, the reasons to trigger a large-scale bullish trend have done collected. Now, let's switch to a smaller time frame. Let's check it out. In the smaller time frame, the uptrend is followed by insignificant trading volume. However, it breaks through the resistance level of the previous pattern. Previously, the price action was suppressed, and now it finally breaks through it. In the weekly candlestick chart, in which part of the bearish market, where the smooth downtrend appeared during the previous period, it's right here. 13 red candlesticks were observed in 13 continuous weeks. This is just exaggerated. The continuous decline has never happened before in the history of cryptocurrencies. The price action developed smoothly during this period, so it will also go smoothly in the corresponding area. As you can see here, the price action oscillated during this period, but since it breaks through the neckline, there's room for the price to move. At the section up here, I think the price action during this period will develop smoother than the previous bumpy ride, because the accumulation of trading volume isn't as evident as before. The breakout at this phase can also be seen as a breakout of the pattern. It depends on how you define it. For example, the trend can be seen as a double bottom or a special double bottom, where the first bottom appears pointy and the second appears rounded after the price action breaks though. Besides, the second bottom is higher than the first bottom. Breaking through the neckline is undoubtedly a bullish signal. Alright, moving on to Bitcoin dominance. As for Bitcoin dominance, I suggest that we need to observe the resistance level around 48% and 49%. Previously, the trend of Bitcoin dominance had been on the rise, which means that Bitcoin rose more aggressively than Ethereum and other altcoins. But the price action is now encountering the resistance level that's been existing for the past year. You can notice the price action touches the resistance level at all these points. Whenever the price action meets the resistance level several times before, it will then undergo strong retracements. As the trend shows, the amplitude of the retracement appears big. Currently, the price action meets the level again. If a retracement is launched, Ethereum and altcoins will develop extremely strongly. However, if the price action breaks through the resistance level, Bitcoin will rise with strong momentum. In my view, the situation that Ethereum rises strongly is more likely to happen. But we should put our attention to trade when the price action reaches 48% or 49%. If the price action does break through, the strong uptrend of Bitcoin will be prolonged. Finally, let's check on the Bitcoin market. It can be explained using the same method as well. First, let's draw a boundary here. The levels of around $32,000 in Bitcoin and around $1,900 in Ethereum have very similar roles. Hence, we can apply the law of cause and effect to explain the two phases here. The first phase is above the level and lasted for 500 days. A total of 8.9 million in trading volume was generated. As for the lower phase, it has lasted for more than 300 days, which is shorter in duration. However, the trading volume is not significantly less than the previous one. Therefore, if the price action breaks through the level, it's highly likely to form a real breakout. Still, we need to observe it. Alright, I'll share how I deploy my positions with you. For Bitcoin, I've been holding the spot position at 19,000 US dollars without selling. However, I didn't manage to trade well for my futures. I only hold a small amount of long position on futures of Bitcoin. As for Ethereum, well, let's switch it back to the Ethereum market. As for Ethereum, I entered the market around the same time as I bought Bitcoin. It's right here. A few days ago, I sold them in batches at this point. It's around here. It's here. I sold them in batches. After selling them, I think now is a good opportunity to add and buy Ethereum positions. In terms of market news or technical analysis, but I prefer to gradually diversify my risks and buy back after a while more. I may also consider adding more if I have cash. As for the futures, I will trade more cautiously this time, especially when we're approaching the largest unlocking state ETH in the next 2 or 3 days. I will consider this after this period. Alright, thank you. You're welcome to like and share my videos and subscribe to my channel. Turn on the little bell button to show me your greatest support. Thank you so much. Bye bye.